back in the saddle, and it's another week of the PD Skillz Show. As is the usual lately, I'm joined by my co-host, the one and only man of gold, Chris Holler.
What's going on, everyone?
So, we're at the time of this recording about 24 hours removed from Courage Pro Wrestling this past Sunday. Madman Pondo. Unfortunately, I do have to report I was the first eliminated by none other than that son of a bitch, Kyle.
I can't say that I'm mad, but I'm disappointed.
That's the line I usually use on him.
Right, exactly. Mr. Disappointment.
But it was a good fucking time. Good turnout. I'd say at least 150 where they were at. I know they were hoping for a little bit higher, but I mean, some people are still cautious.
Yeah. I think it'll
don't want to deal with restrictions.
Yeah, I think it'll take a couple months for things to really open up in terms of people's mentality, thinking, oh yeah, things are getting normal again. We can go to wrestling shows again.
Mm-hmm.
So how was things with Pondo? Did you have any altercation during the match?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know. You saw the promo I cut?
Yes.
Beforehand? Well, I made good on my promise, and I got that motherfucker with the paint roller.
Ah, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. I mean, kayfabe aside, I thought I was taking it, and no, that wasn't the case. So he's super down, really cool to work with all the boys. It was a good time. He fucking I'll tell you his border story. It was a decent one. He had lots of theatrics to it, so it was a good story. I guess he got pulled in, and they searched his car, and they found brass knuckles. And I guess Pondo had said, well, I never shot anybody with a pair of brass knuckles.
So that didn't go well?
Well, obviously, that's what got him pulled in. And he was handcuffed up. And I guess he had to go past, he's handcuffed and he's going towards the detaining cells. And he sees all these people, I guess, that aren't handcuffed. And he's thinking to himself, well, what the fuck? Are these guys going to put me in here handcuffed? Like with all these unhandcuffed people? And they ended up taking him to a spot where he sat on his own. And I guess that's how that starts. And his saving grace was a border guard recognizing Mick Foley on his shirt. And he was basically, yeah, like Mick Foley's a friend of mine. And started explaining that. And
that helped out.
Yeah. And it did, because then he's like, yeah, like I do the same thing he does, and has the border guard pull up a video, and then a couple more border guards end up in the scene huddled around the phone, and he eventually gets let out.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so obviously he made it here.
No, that's actually a strategy that I use whenever I'm in any situation where I'm in trouble. When I'm walking out of the store and the thing beeps, I just tell them I know Mick Foley, and then they just let me go.
Yeah, it gets funnier though. So I always say, if I go to the States, obviously I can't bring my deathmatch shit with me. Now, consider that this guy got pulled in over the brass knucks and detained, but they didn't say shit about his baseball bat with the fucking circular saw blade attached to the end of it.
Well, that has a practical use.
Or his stop sign, or his cinder block with the sledgehammer, or his fucking butter knife that was wrapped in wrist tape and covered in blood.
All those seem like legit uses other than the brass knucks.
But yeah, the brass knucks, those are because that's the weapon that's banned.
Sometimes when I butter my toast, I like to have a little bit of blood on my knife.
You can have everything you fucking need for a zombie apocalypse in your car when you cross the border, but you can't punch him in the face with a pair of brass knucks.
Right. because it doesn't make any sense. You don't need the brass knucks
I thought it
for
made
any
perfect sense.
regular things, but a fork, a bloodied fork and knife, come on, that's a good meal.
Well, I mean, I guess if there's already blood on it, they're just probably like, oh, well, I mean, they're not using it to murder somebody because, I mean, they've
It's already
already,
done.
yeah, they've already done the killing with it.
Right, it's in the past. No need to worry. I'm worried more about WrestleMania coming up.
I mean, me too. We got another Raw ahead of us at the time of this recording, and I don't know. I mean, the door's closing, and it's not. That's not selling me that big either.
And I'm not, usually very negative on modern wrestling. I try to just take it as it is and enjoy what I enjoy and move on. But this is WrestleMania, and I think it's disingenuous for any wrestling fan to not look at WrestleMania as the show of shows and look forward to it every year.
Yeah.
And this year, with not just the card, but the build up for the matches that have been announced has been very lackluster. 90% of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I'm not, and like I don't think there's anything like obviously we want the Cody thing to happen because they need it at this point. But I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's a saving grace at this point as far as getting me pumped for it.
Yeah, and the Cody stuff maybe has been dragged out a little bit too long to where now it's just about, oh, is he coming, and not about the story of why he's there and what's going to happen if he even shows at all. Like again, we're still speculating at this point.
Yeah. I mean, if an altercation were to happen that would take the KO show from show to match, that might do it.
Yeah, but that's something that, you'd usually want to build ahead of time. And especially in this case, I feel like, sure, they could probably just use Cody as a surprise at Mania. And because people are already expecting him there, maybe the announcing beforehand doesn't really matter.
We want to repeat the John Cena Undertaker build that I just tanked. I got nothing at WrestleMania.
Yeah, no, we've been through this. We do not want that to happen. But that's kind of the point why I want him out earlier, so that there could be some sort of a story for, let's just say, if it is Rollins' case, then there should be more to that than finding my road to WrestleMania.
Yeah. So but I mean, that becomes it, where it's just being on WrestleMania is now part of a storyline. Like, just I got to get to WrestleMania. To do what? It's the big show. If you don't have anything important to do, why the fuck are you on it?
It's kind of like the Royal Rumble, where people just kind of, oh, I'm announcing I'm in the Rumble, and like, what's stop you from not being in it, or what would cause you not to be in it if all you have to do is say that I'm going to be in it? Seems to be the same case.
I want to see somebody go, I am declaring I'm not in the Rumble. I'm not interested.
I am not interested in declaring myself in the Rumble this year.
Like, where's the written rules? Who has to qualify? Who's allowed to declare themselves?
And then they come in at number 30. That would be fantastic.
That'll be the next, where people start declaring their numbers in the Rumble.
Right, exactly. They could just do whatever they want. Entitled superstars.
Yeah, you have to sign up. You have to sign up for the Royal Rumble, and your entrance number is the order you guys sign up in.
Yeah,
which was why it takes so long, because people just, like, you slowly sign up because they want a spot in the Rumble, but if you wait too long, you don't get 30 and you don't get in at all.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see. It's kind of like being caller number 30 on the radio stations, and you gotta be right there if you want that perfect spot.
Yeah, no matter how many fucking times you've dialed and gotten the busy tone.
That would have been funny too if that was the way that they got into the Rumble. They had to call into or they had to do a sweepstakes, and then they would have to call in, and they'd have to answer some trivia question about some rock band from the 80s, and then, congratulations, you've won yourself entrant number 4 in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and then they they're like, oh, just kidding, and they hang up and they try and call back again.
Yeah.
Now, actually, what's funny too is because the trip on the weekend. I mean, obviously, like I had some guys in the car and regular like road trip type stories and all that, and just regular wrestling talk, especially on the way back from the show. And then, or actually, like, so I was with Reverso, right? So you had come up, we talked about some stuff with you, and I was like, man, we're playing this. Like, he got me into this fucking GM mode on 2K22, and I'm telling him about it. I'm like, it's actually really fucking dope.
It is. We've been having fun with that, and I think that the mode is good for what it is, but it's better, definitely better and more enjoyable playing against another human person than playing against a computer.
Yeah, yeah, and I still say, based on now that we've played that together, like they got it. I think they got it right for playing with somebody else, because I wouldn't want to sit through somebody else booking very much more than what's there.
Exactly. Yeah. If it was any more complex or took any longer to book your shows,
If
it wouldn't be as
maybe if
enjoyable.
solo mode was more intense and competitive mode was dumbed down,
Right.
that'd be acceptable.
Those are things that maybe we could look forward to in the future. But I was playing a little bit today, and I ran into another bug, a bug report here. It just randomly happened. So far the 2K sorry, my faction, not the 2K towers. My faction is the only mode I've been kind of playing because it cloud saves automatically. No risk of corruption, fun challenges to do, cards unlock, whatever. And I've had no issues with it.
Well,
Until today.
they released the 1.6 patch today, so that should
Maybe that's what broke things. So my online works for everything, like community creations, playing online. If I try to do the 2K one, it does not work. The last thing that I did was I used an exploit that I saw on Reddit to do the my faction tag matches, can't remember what they're called now, really quickly. And I was trying to get the under 2 minute trophy there, or achievement. So you go out of the ring, you grab a kendo stick, and then you wait for them to grab you, and they hit you with it, and they get disqualified. You win. So I did that once. As soon as that match ended, it's like, nope, I'm not going to sync this for you. And now trying to go back in, server error.
It's because of your fucking bullshit booking, Holler. You tried to book a dusty bullshit finish, so the game fucking corrected itself.
It corrected itself by breaking itself more. But yeah, I'll try out the patch. I don't think that I applied that because I didn't notice anything. But hopefully that will resolve it. All in all, it's not as buggy for anyone that hasn't played it yet. It's not as buggy or as broken as 2K22, but there are some issues that you definitely have to be aware of before you sink in deeper.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that seems to be the trend. We're not out of the waters yet as far as a fully functioning pro wrestling game, but this one's a lot better than the last one, at least.
We'll say WWE game.
Yeah. But I don't think
Retromania is flawless.
I don't believe it's going to be enough to save it from ending up in another developer's hands.
Yeah, I agree. I think that well, I don't know how sales are doing, but I feel like they might be better than 2K20, but I don't think that they're going to be any super impressive numbers that would make WWE be like, oh yeah, we have to keep 2K as a developer. Someone else will offer to do it for less money and start something new and fresh. They like that. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I don't know if they'll do less money. At this point, I don't even think money's going to be the issue. The having a good selling, proper working game is probably going to be the key playing point. I don't think the money's going to matter much at this point.
No, I just mean like a developer might do it for less than 2K was willing to.
Or like, do you think it's harder to put out a low, like, to, put a low number there when there's not much competitiveness,
like with other wrestling games?
No, like, as far as, I mean, like, okay, like we've already seen, like, it's, if 2K was pumping out a banger ass game, it'd be harder for EA to get a deal that's more beneficial to them, or like they could, the money would be a thing where they could go, okay, like we'll do it for lower, but it's not like they have to say, okay, we'll do it for lower, because the people
No, they
doing
don't
it
have.
now are shit in the bed.
Yeah, no, it's about quality right now. I'm just saying saving a buck is saving a buck. So like I think that 2K's engine has been beaten into the ground, and even though it's been reworked for this one, it's still the same game in its core. And maybe WWE will just think that I got another fresh start with the new developer might inject some new life into their series, and they can start another decade-long monopoly of wrestling games.
Yeah, I'm still sticking to this one's my last Fed one, and then if it like AEW, I'll buy that. And honestly, if Impact comes out with another game, I'd give it a chance.
It's been a long time since an Impact game, but I still think that is an underrated wrestling game. No, it's not. It doesn't have a lot of depth in terms of modes, and there is sort of a limited move set. But gameplay wise,
I
and
told
especially graphics wise, it's impressive.
I told Reverso that if Impact does a game, he should be their mocap guy for sure.
Yeah, he could do that. Yeah, he could get some work doing that for sure.
Yeah, that was actually car ride with Reverso was good. We had it's obviously a great brain to pick about certain things, and it was cool to bounce some ideas back and forth off him and get some insight.
Whenever I traveled with him, it was always very dangerous because you're always driving in reverse.
Right.
So it takes longer to get there and a little hazardous on the 401.
But at least now he doesn't have a mask on.
That's true. That's true. No twat. That's true.
Yeah. Fuck, we took my car because his car, like I didn't care whose car we took. I was just like, hey, whose car are we taking? And I was, he's like, oh, yours, we'll take yours because my mirror's broken. I'm like, okay, cool, makes sense. I get to his place and I look at his car. I'm like, his car's plugged in. Oh man, this would have been so much cheaper.
He has a hybrid or fully electric.
I'm assuming hybrid. I'm not a car guy. I don't know.
All right. He drives and
like,
doesn't take just gas.
Yeah, I was like, damn, bro, for the price of gas, we could have fixed your mirror.
That's actually a very smart thing for indie wrestlers to go electric now, even though it's a little expensive to buy them. Yeah, with all that travel,
bro, I've been telling indie wrestlers to go fucking green since 2004. Nobody wants to.
Oh.
It's the line. He said the line.
He said the line.
But on a flip from the game side and the WWE side, because we've talked up Mania, do you find, like, because I know AEW does their special events, like they did the St. Patrick's Day smashes last week, and I do find there's a little bit, like, I don't know what's next for AEW. There's a little bit too much time sometimes between the pay-per-views, even though I do like the 4 format with the mini shows. If it's not like a beach break or whatever, if it's just like a smash version, I don't think those break them up that much, and I'm kind of lost on them right now.
I think the one after this, at least last year, was Blood and Guts. So I don't know what they're going to do this year for that. But I like them, but I think that the first one after a pay-per-view usually lacks a little bit because they haven't had as much time to build anything new. We're definitely seeing some new stories and things like that. I know you don't follow closely or anything, but BTE this week was excellent and gave some more backstory towards Adam Page and the Dark Order. So that was enjoyable. Basically,
what did I miss on this one?
Basically, them being upset that he didn't pick them or any of them to be his partners. Instead, he had Sting and Darby Allin, or not. It was Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. So they were not happy that he picked someone else. And then basically they just told him off, saying that, you know, if you don't want to be with us, and then we'll go away. So they did the walk off things. They got all mad at him, and then they walked away.
Yeah.
Off camera, and only Alex Reynolds was talking to him. And then he walks away. He says, wait, you guys come back here. I know you're just standing behind the camera. You didn't actually leave. And they all come right back from the camera.
Yeah, it just totally breaks the fourth wall completely.
Yeah. And then they just start roasting each other, and it was fantastic. But basically they called him out for being a lackluster champion and everything. And they told him right to his face. But yeah, it was a great segment. And I think they needed that to add something to Adam Page. I know it's not on the regular TV or anything, but
that's where I struggle with BTE, is it's not on the regular TV, so it just,
then watch it.
No, like people
Rampage isn't on Dynamite, but you still watch Rampage separately.
There's also their televised wrestling shows. It's different.
Yet you would get on my case whenever I wasn't up to date with Z Long Island story, whatever he would call it back in the day.
But that
people
didn't
would reference that all the time, and I'd be the same old man like you saying, "Oh, I don't get this."
Yeah, but they didn't use his show as independent. It didn't build the storylines. It just built his popularity, and then on screen he became more popular because he was undeniable.
But also his character, and I had no idea about his character or anything about him unless I watched the blog. It's just an extended reading into the universe, and if you want to appreciate it more, then you can watch any of the blogs. I recommend Danhausen.
But my thing is, put that effort in. Don't acknowledge it on your show. Like, don't acknowledge it on being the elite. Put that effort into the actual show of making him not be a lackluster champion.
Then they couldn't have this amazing segment of roasting each other and saying things that they couldn't say on network television.
I would rather the strong champion than the fucking online banter. I care about the main product.
Well, then don't complain if you're not following the side stories. That's all.
No, I have to.
But
I have to.
My point is though, even if you don't watch BTE, what happens with him and the Dark Order and his personal stuff does come out through his character when you're on the show, and I feel like you can notice something a little bit different with him sometimes, and then you just benefit from understanding what's going on with him if you watch a show like BTE, especially in that case. I'm not saying you have to watch for the BTE championship or for Nick's shoe shopping.
It'd be different for me if like being the elite was like segments like inserted into Dark or something.
Now Dark could use something like that. I think that is something that maybe they could toy with.
Yeah, Dark or Dark Elevation. Use being the elite style stuff for the segments on that.
That could work.
Especially considering a lot of their sub characters.
But as soon as you make something as part of the show,
Dark,
then it just loses its charm. It loses its charm and its exclusivity.
I don't.
I watch this.
Yeah, and then I'll watch it.
I know the things that you do not watch, so I am more exclusive.
But imagine all the views if everybody felt that exclusive.
I just don't think it would be as special.
I'm just saying the main story should rock without you having to do the side missions.
Oh, and sometimes the side quests are so bad that you don't want it as part of the main game. I'm not saying it's all gold. There's some stinker segments too.
Yeah, but there's some stuff that's so trash that it's good.
But it's also easy to skip. That's why. Ryan Nemeth is one that he gets a lot of, as he says in the video, X-Pac heat. But I think he's absolutely hilarious. And he even says in the video, I'm the bad guy. You're not supposed to like me.
Yeah.
Like he gets it. I don't think he has all the talent that his brother has, but and that's one of the things he complains about is being compared to his brother. But he definitely gets it. He gets his role in everything, and
okay,
I applaud him for that.
And like I just like I said, I just like to see them develop those storylines and characters where everybody can see it. If anything, if I was going to say it's good for anything, it's good practice or good exposure for them. I just don't like the intertwining to the TV. If it was its own complete separate thing and nonsensical nonsense, I'd probably watch it more.
To each his own. What
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing is what they're going to do with the ROH weekly show and how that's going to be produced too. So now they have like a whole nother hour or so, we'll say, of weekly TV to book. It's outside of AW, yes, but it's still another thing on the plate of Tony Khan, right? And whatever happens with it is going to go and reflect right back on him.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the shows itself, and if it stays on the Sinclair stations, and just like what they'll be like, if they're just like carry on as things were before, or if it will have a fresh new style or AEW, maybe AEW commentators, things like that.
I hope they keep in touch with the base of what it has been all the time with a mild refresh. I don't want them to NXT 2.0 it.
Agreed. Yes. If I see tie-dye on the ROH logo, I will be very upset.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want any more 2.0 anythings.
No, even they got rid of 2.0's name, the tag team 2.0 of Parker and Lee. And
they changed their names, didn't they?
Yeah, Angelo Parker and forget Matt's name now on it. But so they even got rid of the 2.0 in that. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
And
finally, I think that's good, just because honestly, that association, it made sense that they made that change. It was overdue. It's something I didn't like about it. Didn't make sense to me. What the hell is a 2.0? So I mean, I think that's good.
Well, they used to be 1.0, I believe, or no, sorry, they were 3.0 back in the days, back in the Quebec, Ontario indie days.
Okay, I got you.
And I forget what the story was behind that as the name, but they basically went from 3 to 2, so now to nothing. I guess they skipped the 1.0, but I don't know how that works.
Yeah, but it's a positive name change.
It is.
And in a world of so many bad ones.
Yeah, especially because they're going by their real names,
Why don't we do that? Why don't we commit to that for next week?
About
name changes. We should talk about some name changes. What the good ones and bad ones?
Yeah, I love that. Like with Jericho's team, they're all using their real names. Garcia, Jack Hager, Chris Jericho, no gimmicks, all real names. Love it.
So does that sound like a plan for next week? We do the good and the bad professional wrestling name changes.
Yeah, I'll tell you my favorite right now, but it's not a name change. But I just wish that he stayed with his birth name. Who? And that's Mr. Higginbottom. Shawn Michaels is a silly stage name. Higginbottom was meant to be on marquees everywhere.
You're ridiculous. Well, then
that could be fun.
Well, then we have it. That's what we're doing next week. So, ladies and gents, next week we're gonna dive into it. Maybe I'll even include some less familiar name changes. Maybe including even one of my own.
Those are some of my favorite. The ones that either you didn't know about that used to be their name, or that you forgot about, and then you laugh when you remember what they were called. I think it shouldn't be just like gimmicks either. They should be like, more straight up just like name changes for the sake of either legal stuff or like a good one to talk about. And we could save this, but it is like the whole Steve Williams, Steve Austin name.
And how and reasons for it. Absolutely.
So stuff like that would be really good.
that's what we'll cover next week. So, I mean, anybody listening to the show out there on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, any of that good shit, if you've got an idea and there's a name change that you thought was great or terrible, you can hit me up on any of the social medias at PD Skillz Show. And that's it for this week. So until next time, I'm your boy PD Skillz, and this is Chris Holler.
Go Wolverines, Sweet 16. You're going down Villanova, down to the ground.
And that's sports.